Manchester United has had an audacious bid for Manuel Ugarte rejected by Paris Saint-Germain as Ineos are getting down with business. Meanwhile, Erik ten Hag is set to sign his new contract with Manchester United, perhaps tomorrow or the day after. Welcome to the United Hot Sport. My name is Webb. Here is a quick update concerning our transfer and contract situation. Like, share, and subscribe as we do get into this, because this is no, hearsay. These are real confirmed reports coming through from both Ben Jacobs and, of course, Fabrizio Romano, who have confirmed these two reports that I'm about to give you. Now, here's the first. Now, you do recall the name Manuel Ugarte. This is a player that Manchester United was linked with in the last summer. You do recall he was still playing for Sporting Lisbon, and I think him and Kim Min-jae were two of the first players that were linked with Man United. I expected that they would be the first priorities for Erik ten Hag to sign in that summer then, but for some reason we didn't get both of them, with Kim Min-jae going to Bayern and Ugarte going to Paris Saint-Germain. But guess what? United are still saying we're not done with this Uruguayan 23-year-old, as they have approached Paris Saint-Germain, and I call it an audacious bid for him, because this is a player Paris Saint-Germain bought for a reported 60 million euros. That's just over 50 million pounds. That's how much they got him for from Sporting Lisbon, and they signed him on a 5-year contract that runs out in the summer of 2028. But just one season, or just over under 30 games into his time there, Man United are coming for him. They are knocking on the door of PSG, and they're putting in an audacious bid. But Paris Saint-Germain has turned down the initial offer that Manchester United has put in, because they feel it is way below the valuation of the player. Well, the figures are not yet confirmed, but I think, knowing that he was bought for about 60 million euros or 50 million pounds, just over 50 million pounds, I think PSG's valuation of Ugarte should be about about 55, 60, 70 million pounds or thereabouts. So I expect them to overprice him in a way. But Ugarte is a very important player. He's a beautiful midfielder. If you do recall, I think when we wanted the holding midfielder, he was one of those we looked at even before, I think, bringing in Casemiro. We were speaking about him. He has been on the radar for Man United for quite some time. The reality is he's a good midfielder. If you watch him play, I like the way he carries the ball. He's a number 6, but he carries the ball well and makes good dribbles. He's so firm on the ground, physical, solid guy. We call them hard guys lately. He's a good pass of the ball. He plays good short passes. He has got good vision, good technique. I think he's a calm a midfielder, holding midfielder, who I think would be a good partner for a player like Kobe. So if we fail on the Joao Neves, who are overpriced, I think he can still come in and be an able player. For some reason, I think he has been out of the talk for Manchester United for some reason, but he has re-emerged, and United have reportedly made an audacious bid for him, going back again to the roots, the same players that were had as first priorities. Given the fact that Erik ten Hag is staying as boss, they are saying let's go to the same and revisit the same players he was linked with for quite some time. So I feel, for me, this is another good one. I think, again, now Man United is being linked with players who deserve to put on the Man United jersey. I think he's a character, he's a personality, he's a beast in the midfield. I feel, for me, this is another good player. And remember, we wanted Edson Alvarez, who got injured, playing for his Mexican national team. So, meaning all these should be, I think, other options that Ineos had in place. And again, they're beginning to try to trigger them. We are making moves. Now, speaking of moves, between today and tomorrow, we should be getting a big update, because according to Fabrizio Romano, the important meeting, is taking place either today or tomorrow for Erik ten Hag to finally accept and put pen to paper to a new contract as Manchester United manager, as the few nitty-gritties they needed to work on have almost all but been done. They have almost been sorted, and Erik ten Hag is now ready to put pen to paper on that contract extension. It's believed to be 2 more years for him, but it could be just more than that. Of course, if it's 2 more years, then that would give him a total of 3 more years, which I think is enough for Ineos to assess the project. So I also don't think it will be longer than 2. Honestly, we wanted Erik ten Hag to stay, but I think the wise thing would be to take him in bits. Take him in bits. Don't tie him already now to a long contract. Give him 2 years, assess the 2 years and see what he does, then give him more like that. So Ineos are already making moves in trying to seal him. So it's, I think, a good progress. And of course, they're trying to constitute his backroom staff. There will be changes in his backroom staff. Ruud van Nistelrooy as well is happy. He's moving fast. And as it looks, Nistelrooy is set to accept to return as assistant of Eric Ten Hag. And I think what we hear is that the talks are about clarity of his role. What will he be doing? That is Ruud van Nistelrooy. Will he be the designated number two, the proper number two of Eric Ten Hag, or is he going to be a support staff? All that clarity is needed, but Ineos are clear about what they want to do, and as it looks, I think could be taking the place of Steve McLaren as the proper number two, or that's according to what we pick. But what we know is the talks are ongoing, progressing well, and Ruud van Nistelrooy is excited by the idea of returning. United as well are contemplating taking a bid back to Everton for Jared Branthwaite. So as you can look now, the coming days are expected to be extremely busy for Manchester United as we do get to make moves. Now, there is a report I read somewhere that Man United has been linked with Paulo Dybala, and well, I'm thinking, for me, I was just here yesterday telling you that it wouldn't hurt for Manchester United to bring in Joshua Zirkzee, add him, combine him as a long-term prospect to Rasmus Højlund, but also bring an experienced forward to try and bring in that experience. Because to be honest, there are situations in the season, there are games where you need experience more than pace and physique and skill and flair of the youngsters, or the youngins, the Gen Zs of today. There are games where you need experienced players to manage because of what you want to achieve from the game, because of the nature of opponent. You need a depth of experience in all departments where you need to be playing them ahead of the more talented, more energetic, skillful youngins. So I think for me, Man United, to balance up the squad as we rebuild this team, because we are Manchester United, we are not going to go into periods of rebuilding without competing. We certainly need a level of experience. And if they speak of Paulo Dybala, who was linked with Man United before, if you do recall, I think even the last summer, for me, think I wouldn't be extremely disappointed in him. I think if he's affordable, if he's cheap, because I don't think Dybala should be an expensive player for Man United to sign. If he's affordable, he brings in that bit of experience, that brings in depth. But also, the experience comes in handy when things don't start well for you in a game. You need an experienced player to come off the bench and impact the game, make a change, because the experienced players will be able to sit and read the game from the bench and know what they need to do to change the result of the bench in case the young players have failed to get the goals for you. So I think this Dybala talk, of course, it's not big and imminent. It's not like it's a major deal about to happen. But I love such links with senior player, experienced players, especially when it comes to the striking department. We need a little bit of it. We've got a fine share of it in the back line. We've got a little bit of it in the middle, a little bit of it. We lack experience when it comes to the forward positions. And that's where I think, for me, if we are linked with Dybala, Sahu Girassi, these experienced players would make a little bit more sense if we add them onto the young players. That's what I think. But the big one is Manuel Ugarte, the 20-year-old Uruguayan midfielder, who is linked with Man United. A bid has been put in. It has been rejected on arrival, but trust you me, United will be heading back for more. Let me know what you think about Ugarte. Is he the one? Should he be the chosen one? Drop down in the comment section and let me know what you think about that, because Casemiro is expected to leave. The talks are ongoing, they are progressing, and Casemiro should be leaving. That's why these bids are going in, because probably they have confirmed that indeed Casemiro has accepted to go to Saudi, and the money is most likely going to come from Saudi. Beautiful stuff, isn't it?